welcome back to Greenhill Junction. This video is going to be a continuation of the village build. Also we've got that corner done there. So now moving on to the sort of centre section of the village, and if things go well we'll get on to that side too. Now, I have finally got some planning done. So after the last video, the 500 subscribers layout tours, I got a lot of nice comments, a couple of ones about this area. I have to admit I was a bit stuck in the 21st century and that I was wanting a road down here, and someone pointed out that, you know, a lot of people didn't have cars in those days and would have just walked to their work. I suggested just putting a trail in, and someone else suggested putting in a set of steps down to the yard. So what I am going to do is I'm going to reinstate the board to there, so that cottages can have a garden there, basically. And I'll figure out what I'm going to do here and whether I'm going to put something else in there, and there'll be some steps coming down into the yard. That's the current plan. The terrace houses are going in the back, because when I had them at the front here, they were too imposing. They cut out a lot of light into the village, because the light is actually behind me, as you can see from my shadow. So it was just, it made the whole village seem really dark, and I think it was going to ruin it. So the terrace houses are going to go at the back, cottages at the front with some gardens, and then stairs somewhere in there. With regards to this side, I have finally decided that I'm going to put in the sort of offset bridges to take away that big straight line, which I've never been that happy about, and I think I'm going to have enough room in there, even with that, to have the pub and sort of police station scene. So there's a lot of little jobs to get on with. I have no doubt this is going to take me a few weeks. Things like I need to do more dry stone walling to come all the way along. Basically it's going to go all the way along to where it meets the end of the bridge. I need to get paving down on the cottage side along there. I need to get the road surface done, and also I need to get this filled in somehow. And then there's jobs like doing gardens and details and all sorts of things. So it's all little fiddly jobs, just like over here, but it'll hopefully come together into a really nice scene. And I'll just basically do videos as I have more progress and then put it together into one big video. So first job for me is getting this pavement down, getting them stuck down, and then that'll give me my template for where the road needs to go, and then we can work on from there. So come back once we've got a bit more progress. Right, welcome back. Progress is being made. What I thought I'd do is I've removed all the buildings, so I can show you basically the plan as such. So putting a hole with the paving, as you can see, and then I've got this square here, rectangle even. So in here is where the terrace house is sitting. I had to cut off, it was fitted, or the pack comes with like pavement around it, but when I lifted it off the old layout that got damaged, it was just all higgledy-piggledy, so I cut that off, and just created my own space for the terrace housing to sit in. Back here will be a garden, drying area, bin area, sort of communal, for those terrace houses. Down the front still going to be the cottages. To be honest, this section and round the corner off screen is taking so much time. I think this bit, the extending the baseboard and sort of sorting out all this, is going to be the village part 3, because it's just taking a lot of time. So sweeping around, you'll see I have put in dry stone walling all the way around. I seem to have mismeasured that bit there, so that last bit's not stuck in. We'll pop back here a sec. This area here, so this is going to be a market, and this is parking for the police station, which is going there. So Metcalf, I've got a really nice sort of country market kit I'm going to order, and we'll have a sort of village market there. police station sits there, police car's there, and then round here, this random island thing will make sense. And that road's coming up here, junction in here. This will be this area here will be the pub car park. So I've still put in a little bit of paving down there, but I just wasn't sure where everything was going. So I know it in my head where it's going, I just don't quite know how it's going to work out on the board yet. If I just take you right around here, so I have cut sort of 2 angles away to make 2 separate bridge faces, and I'm going to have to do a bit of construction, but the idea is I'm just using this bit of wood, this is too thick, is I'm going to have a pillar there. Oops. I was going to use these, however I didn't realise they came ready built and one's too long and one's too short, so I've ordered just the standard girder kit, it's just the squares rather than the one with the curve, and then I can build it myself. So the idea being that I'll have one set in there, and then the wall will get built back to join it, if you follow my drift, and then there'll be another one going along there. I'll move you back a wee bit. Be another one going along there, and again there'll be a small pillar up there with a wall for basically the girder to get fitted into, and that will obviously, I'll not be that, I'll probably use about 4mm wood, whatever I've got kicking about, MDF probably, and obviously that'll be cut down to just the same height as the girders, but that'll give me the offset bridges there. So that is the sort of layout. What I'll do is I'll bring all the buildings back in so you can sort of see it with the buildings in, and it might make a little bit more sense. So back in a bit. Right, a little bit more progress made. I've put the buildings back in so you get a better idea of the actual layout of the village. So I've got all the road surface done using the Geoscenics pothole road kit. Slight issue that obviously that's a bit I did in the last village, this is a new bit, and I've managed to make it a different colour. I've sort of tried to blend it in and made it worse. So we'll just kid on that that's a reinstatement and that's newer, because stuff like this happens, doesn't it? The light is dodgy because I've had to bring in another light while I'm working because I'm in the middle of a dreich Scottish winter, and there isn't a lot of light in this room, so that's why it's looking a bit spotlit. So road done all the way around to there, chopped that bit off so that will eventually join a bit nicer than that. Got the pavement in that I was talking about. And along the pub entrance, and then it just comes round here past the police station. So yeah, pub car park in here. Still waiting for my market stalls to get delivered so I can build that. Wall all the way along the back, which sort of sections it off quite nicely. Started working on the back here. So I've built an allotment there, and we've got static grass down for the sort of communal gardens. So the plan is to get some washing lines in there. There'll be a fence running right the way along with a gate, and then the allotment will be fenced off and a gate there, and that fence will run all the way over there. Over here at the pub, this is going to be the last thing I do, getting these bridge bits in if I even get that done for this. So I'm just about to grass all this all the way around and round the back of the police office as well, because basically it's a kind of area that I'm not going to do anything with, so I might as well grass it. Well, with regards to the police station, so at the back of the pub, be a fence sort of coming out there. Be a fence coming out there to the wall to section it off. I've cut down the courtyard that came with the kit, so it's just a small courtyard at the back that goes to the archway like that. And then yeah, it'll be grass all the way around it, and I'll use the same Metcalf tables that I've got over at the cafe, and we'll have a whole lot of seating, outdoor seating going on. around here, and I'll probably put like bushes and flowers along the front, and kind of smarten it up with some, I don't know, with some flower boxes and things. So that's where we're at. This bit is not getting done right now. I just want to get this whole section done. And it's fiddly bits. It's like I say, it's little jobs that you got to do, let it dry, and then come back to it. So we'll get there. But yeah, next job is getting all the grass done here, so it doesn't look like a concrete jungle. And fencing too. I want to get the fencing in once the grass is done. So we'll come back once there's a wee bit more progress. Alright, welcome back. A few more jobs done. When I've got the market stalls in place, I've got some more stuff coming to make that look a bit more markety, because now it's a bit barren. What I've done, you can see along the walls, I've sort of just stuck on some scatters and a bit of bushes to make it look a bit more bedded in, and I've done that on the other side of the railway as well. Loads of progress over here. Pretty much got the pub gardens done, so eventually figured out what to do with all this. So I put in some plants and some trees along with the fencing. The fencing I got off eBay, it was a picket fence laser cut kit, only cost about £5, and it's given me meters of fencing, so that'll be popping up in various places. Pub gardens are done with the Metcalf tables in. I cut down the the courtyard that came with this Metcalf kit, just so it's got a sort of patio space. And I've put a row of bushes, hedges along the back there, and added some flowers to the dark bushes just to make it a bit different, and that'll continue along there eventually. The bridge bits are currently getting built over there, and I'm waiting for more stuff to arrive. And we've got some white lines done. I remember the trouble I had doing white lines here. So Andy, I'm sure it was Andy at Charleston Eastgate, said get one of these pens, and he's absolutely right. They're brilliant. You can get different thickness of tips. I got quite a thick one because I didn't know what to get. But what I found is if I use the ruler to do the lines and run the pen along the ruler, you actually get a really nice what I think is to scale white line. So we've got the giveaways in, we've got the car park done, and we just need to do this bit, and I just haven't decided where to put the crossing yet. Probably going to be there, but I can't find Bullisher beacons that I like. What else? So the buildings are in. I have replaced all the doorsteps to make them fit in a little bit better. We'll get the fish and chip sign out, and again the doorsteps are in for the houses. Around the back, so I think I showed you the allotment in the last video. We've got the fencing in with gates to the different areas, and I've also got the washing line. Now that's just what is it? Matchsticks. That's what it is. Cut to size, painted, and then got some black string that I stole from the wife's knitting bag to make the rope. And then the middle section, depending on how old you are, you might remember white washing lines like this. And then once you hung up your washing, you always put a pole in the middle to put it like a couple of feet higher because it dried better up there. That's just the end of a coffee stirrer that I cut a little V shape in and painted it so it holds the line up in the middle. Just getting some final details delivered at last. The post has been really quite slow, so got some figures delivered. We've got some people for the allotment, some people hanging up washing, although I'm not going to use that washing line, but I like the figures, so I had to get the whole kit. And then we've got some kids playing football. Again, probably not going to use the goals. Really, I just want the kids having a wee game of football in there. So need to stick them in. I've got more stuff coming eventually for some more details. I have to say the population of this town will be going up slowly because this stuff was 40 quid. So yeah, that'll be getting added to gradually, and hopefully I'll get the bridges done soon as well to sort of finish off that scene. So that's where we're at, and hopefully the next video will be this scene complete. So speak to you then. Right, welcome back. I thought I'd just do a wee bit on showing you how easy it is to do the road markings with these Posca pens, Uni Posca white pens. So I've put in my zebra crossing. I just did that by hand and basically drew the box with a white pen and then coloured it in. The good thing about working on this rough surface is it never goes on perfect, so you get that kind of worn look to it. I know Tony Northeastern had a video where there was some debate on whether there would be a zebra crossing like that in the 50s or whether it was just studs. Now, I was just going to do studs, but I did a very quick bit of Google research, and I'll just take you around to the tablet and zoom in and make the screen bright. There we go. So that is Nicholson Street in Edinburgh in the 1950s apparently, and you can see it's got what we would know nowadays as a zebra crossing. I did try and put these studs in, however they need to be so close together that I made an absolute mess of it and had to quickly sort of wipe it off, which is the slight smudge there. So we're not going with studs. So hopefully that solves any debate on whether you should have a zebra crossing like that or not. Whether it does or not, it remains to be seen in the comments. Right, now for actually putting the lines down, I found this metal safety ruler is absolutely perfect for it. And my white lines over here are 1 inch long with a 2 inch gap, and then a random gap there, because again, if we bring back this photograph, you know, this is city centre Edinburgh, and you can see that there's no zigzags up the side there marking the controlled area of the crossing. There's no centre lines actually in the road, probably because the tram lines are there, and there's no stop lines either side. So really quite a basic crossing. There is Belisha beacons, and I have ordered some eventually to arrive. So what I'm going to do is basically keep a symmetrical gap. So that gap there is 1.5 centimetres. So I want to begin 1.5 centimetres away from that line, which is going to be there. If you have a grey road surface, you can draw on it with grey pencil and get away with it. So to make life simple as well, I'll just line up with that line. Get an inch starting there. Right, I brought you into this angle so you see what I'm doing. So I measured 1.5 centimetres from the edge of the line to there, which is where the 9 inch mark is. I've got the ruler centred on the road. The road's just over 10 centimetres wide, so the edge of the ruler is about 5.5 centimetres. So by the time you take in the width of the line, it'll be right about the centre. So if you just hold this, and again remember my lines are 1 inch white, 2 inch gap, and you basically just get right on the edge of the ruler. So I'll start at the 8 inch and very, very lightly draw a line. I'll take a 2 inch gap, draw another line, it's maybe a bit too light, another 2 inch gap, and draw another line. And it's that easy, and you can see the ruler takes a bit of the white paint, so it doesn't give you a really thick white line, and you're left with a nice thin mark, a nice straight mark, right in the middle of the road. And it all, to me, it all looks in scale and all looks quite neat. And because you're only pressing lightly, it's not going on as a solid white line, so it does look like a bit worn. So it's as easy as that. Highly recommend one of these pens for doing white lines, and thanks to Andy Charleston Eastgate for pointing me in that direction. So I'm going to get on with the rest of the lines through the village, and then that's essentially the road surface done. Okay, so the final part of this scene is the bridges, and the grey board that I ordered for the sides has been delivered. So this is the basic plan. So you get the two bits of grey board acting as the walls. They're A4 size long, so they basically make it look like a tunnel rather than just being under a baseboard if I'm happen to be filming at this angle. And I've cut them in such a way that they'll support that beam. So the idea is that there'll be another one there with the second beam going across there, and then there'll be a sort of wall there as well. Really quite easy to work with. If I take you over to the workboard here, I got this because basically it's winter and I can't get outside to saw wood, and I need something that I could work with indoors. So this is 3mm grey board. Really quite rigid actually. I was worried how I would cut it. As it turns out, it's really quite easy to cut with a sharp craft knife. So if I take this apart, I'll just show you what I've got. So with that away, and of course it all falls apart. So all I've done is I've taken an A4 sheet and I've cut. So that's the height difference between the two baseboards. And then there's a wee nick there for the girder to sit on, and then that bit for, I don't know, the pillar, whatever you want to call it. And then it just slides in. Well, that one's a wee bit more difficult because the track's there. Always works until you film. There you go. So it'll just slide in and sit there. And I'll have a gap that I'm going to have to fill there. I always knew there was going to be a wee bit of cowboying, shall we say, when I was building this. So the idea is get the structure in and then fill gaps and cover them up basically. So it's all going to be brick papered, and then some capping stones on top. Capping stones will probably more than likely just be the Metcalf, what do you call them, paving stones. But yeah, so that's the idea. It should be a relatively simple and straightforward construction, famous last words, and just a case of gluing on paper, and I need to get these painted. So yeah, crack on with that, and hopefully we'll have a couple of bridges / tunnels in place. Okay, welcome back, and that's us done. So I've not filmed this because I'll be quite honest, I was sort of making it up as I was going along, and trying things out and just seeing basically how it works and how it's going to fit. However, I am going to use the same techniques over here, so when I eventually get there, I will do a video on how I constructed it all. It took a bit of figuring out, cutting, recutting, and just sort of playing about with it, but I'm really pleased with what I've managed to achieve here. Out of what grey board, Metcalf brick paper, Metcalf paving, and the Very Girder kit, who, for the life of me I can't remember who makes it, but everyone's got it. So what I have done with the girders is I sort of dry brushed them with green, a green I made up out of my poster paints. So there's no fancy paints being used here, it's just the Hobbycraft £1 poster paint. So I mixed the green and the black to make a sort of, I was going for a British racing green colour, but that green, whatever it is. And then I dry brushed on black to bring out the girder detail. But then what I did afterwards was just dry brushed some streaks on to try and weather it, and I think that's came out really quite effective. You can see the girder detail, but you can also see the black streaks. Just don't know. I was playing about and kind of worked out pretty well. So yeah, nice wee finish to what has been quite a big project over a couple of months. So I'll take you through it piece by piece from this corner. So I'm sort of like showing you it in reverse. So we've got the pub Metcalf kit, with the gardens and the tables round it, again Metcalf kit. And I've finished off the wall in there and the hedging, and all that is woodland scenics clumps, I think it's called. And I've varied the colours, and the darker bushes I've just put some coloured scatter on to make it look like they're flowering. The corner here, again it's the picket fencing from eBay, really nice wee laser cut kit. And then I made just a small sort of, I don't know, garden area, just because I didn't know what to do with that corner, so put in some of the flowers that I used on the park, and some of my own seafoam trees. Working round to the police station. That's a super quick kit that I had for the last layout, and then the 2 Oxford die-cast police cars. All the paving's Metcalf. The road kit is the gravel road kit that I've used before. I showed you previously how the white lines are done. Back of the police station is just a grassed area. Nothing special going on there, where we gate. Okay, the market, again Metcalf kit for the stalls. The boxes there, scale model scenery kit, really fiddly put together, but really like detailed, to be honest. And then I bought some vegetables to put in them, just to make the market look a bit busier. It looked a bit bare in the last video. I do have some more to make up, so I'm just going to scatter them about like that to make it look like they've been making some sales. This is I think it's a bush kit. It was only 22 quid delivered, and you got all this with it. So everything you see here, the stalls, the boxes, the barrels, the guy and the van. So I put in my wee fish market, which I actually really like. I like the dude just standing there looking utterly bored, waiting for a customer. The phone box is a Hornby kit. We've got the terraced houses. Yeah, a window fell out. I'm having to fix that. Moving on. The zebra crossing, I got these cracking Belushi beacons off a guy on eBay. They're actually metal, painted metal. And I've just fitted them, and I really like how they look. And I've put in an extra wee bit of fence in there just to finish that off. And then this is the bit that was already in. So if I take you round the back of the terrace houses, this is a scene that I'm actually really pleased with, and that I've populated as well. So we've got the communal garden at the back. It's all fenced off from the back path, and you'll see I've got little dustbins there for all the houses. That was a kit that I bought off eBay, pre-painted. I've come round here first of all, so I knocked something off the table, but I built the washing line myself, and then I got some figures to go with it. Slight scaling issue. The lady there's going to have to stretch a little bit further to get her stuff on the washing line, but hey ho, it looks close enough. In the garden here, I decided that I wanted to have the sort of football game going on with some kids, so I got I think it's a knock kit for that. So you can see the chap's just about to get a big dirty tackle from his mate. And for the goals, what I tried to do is I'm sure everyone did this when they were a kid. Put jumpers down as posts instead of actually building goalposts. And you see the chap in there hoping that his mate's going to make the tackle so he doesn't have to save the shot. That's just tiny bits of fabric that I stuck down there. Then over to the allotment. So we have leeks, turnips, and I think there might be runner beans at the back. Again, stuff I bought online from I'm sure it was a model tree shop. They've got quite a selection. And then another kit. That's it. I've not used the entire kit, but we've got the chap with his rake there, just resting on his rake. And then, oh, it's went all dark, sorry. And then the other chap is holding the hose, water in the garden. With a little Metcalf hut in the corner, and the bin that came with the figures, so I just put the bin there. But I really like how that back scene turned out. So yeah, so just an overview of the village of a whole. So I mean, this has been most of the year's work, getting that hillside done with the tunnels, and then working through the level crossing, the play area, the park, the road, the cafe, and then the past few months has been doing, we'll call it the village centre, right the way along there, and finishing off with the bridges, which really nicely brings the scene, or connects the two scenes, the lower station and the village. Undecided on my next task, whether it's to do this bit of the village here, which I'm still thinking about what I need to do, or if I move on and do the upper station. To be honest, I'm thinking more of doing this so I don't have an unfinished project, and I've got ideas in my head as to what to do with it. But yeah, so I need to get some more cars too. I've put some cars in that I had, but I need to get some more cars to make it look a bit busier. Probably put in a bus stop as well, seeing as I've got a bus. That would probably be a good idea, and eventually get some people wandering about too. So yeah, so that's the village so far. Good couple of months working on that project, but I'm really pleased with how it turned out. So let me know what you think. Please leave any comments you have. Like and subscribe to the channel, and like the video as well, and share it if you think it's any good. And yeah, stay tuned for more construction, because that's really where we're going now, is constructing the layout, and you never know, the odd new local might appear. So thanks very much for watching, and speak to you again soon. Cheers.